Welcome back to the channel. We are going to work on the power steering system, get all that knocked out. So we have a new pump for it. We have to mount a new reservoir that's a little bit bigger, and then we have to run all the lines and mount the ram to the axle. So we're gonna get all that done today, and then see what else we can get to. All right, we got the power steering pump removed. This is the old one and this is the new one. This one is off the 22R that was in it, so we're gonna have to swap this pulley out for a rib pulley instead of the V-belt. But other than that, this pump will work just fine. So we'll get that in there, and then we need to do an external reservoir since obviously this pump doesn't have one on it. So, all right, so in order to make this pump mount, we're going to have to steal this bracket off the stock pump and then bolt up to here. Alright, so these bolts are too big, but the bracket fits in the same location on this pump. There's a little threaded hole here, and then this one, we just have to do a bolt and nut, and then it will still bolt up with this bracket and this one here to the block. Alright, we got the pulley off. That was this pulley. Now we're going to put this one on. Alright, we got the new pulley on. Now time to install the pump. Alright, we tacked the reservoir in right here. We need to get some different fittings because you want this to be as a straight line as possible between the reservoir and the pump. The only way to get this reservoir any higher would be all the way back here, and that's just a lot of lines to run since the steering's all over there. So we're gonna see if this works. We just need to wait on a couple fittings, and then we'll get that wrapped up. All right, so we're going to move on to the steering ram. I'm gonna mount it somewhere right in here. So let's make a couple tabs. Alright, got the ram in there, all the mounts made, and everything clears. Alright, we got a couple fittings to work with here. So now we're going to have to move this around. It's just tacked in right now so that we can get this to work how we want. Modify the file to be a little bit longer and fit around the tube. Alright, this is the previous one and the new one, quite a bit longer. Let's see if it fits. Alright, got that line done, reused the old line and just shortened it down. So that should work nicely. Feed the pump. Alright, we got all the power steering lines run from the reservoir to the cooler, and reservoir to pump, as well as pump to the box. I still gotta fully secure this, but all the lines come up underneath this tray here, and then the steering lines come through here and down to the ram. We gotta flex test that before we tie all those up, but that pretty much completes the steering system. All right, with the steering all pretty much finished up, let's complete a bunch of little things. So I just put this fitting in here. I'm gonna hook the vacuum booster to that fitting, and then we've got a bunch of wiring to clean up. We might not clean that up right now, but we have to do that, and then we also have to remove this battery tray. So the intake I want to live over here, and with the battery there, there's really nowhere to put it. So if we take the battery, we put it on this side, that will clean it up, and the alternator is also on this side, so it'll make the wiring just a little bit easier. Alright, we got the battery tray out. This stock tray underneath is pretty mangled, so we're going to drill all the spot welds out. We do have some rust underneath it too we might have to take care of, so let's get this whole thing removed so it looks nice and clean. Alright, we got the battery moved out of this side. We still have to clean this up a little bit, and then moved it over here. We still also have to do the inner fender portion. We had to cut out a little bit of it anyways for clearance, so we're just going to clean it up, make it look good. But other than that, most of the wiring's removed. Obviously we have to still do a lot of the plumbing and whatnot, but engine bay's starting to come together. Well, trying to film making these, but it's raining pretty good, so loud in there. Alright, so I decided to do this side different than the other side. So this side is basically going to be a piece just like that, and that will allow me to cut out that rust and that hole and make it seamless, kind of. Alright, we got the new panel shaped into there. Gonna tack it in and hammer it into place. Alright, got that whole panel welded in. Kind of working the other side. Both inner fenders done, and got the battery relocated, and then had to relocate the washer or the overflow as well. Engine bay is filling up nicely. Pretty much all that's left is all the plumbing and wire. Thanks for watching.